Good morning, everyone. Good evening. Welcome. Let's start. Mm, 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 mm. Today we are doing chapter 16, Bhagavad Gita, Deva Sura Sampatti Vibhaga Yoga, meaning Deva Asuri. That means divine and demonic. Sampatti means wealth. Vibhaga is distinguishing. So it is divine and demonic qualities distinguishing and letting us know. Krishna is letting us know exactly what qualities are divinely. Krishna said in previous chapter, which is chapter 15, he talked about Sharam and Aksharam. Sharam is something that is perishable, never permanent, whereas Aksharam is always there. And there he mentioned Aksharam as Maya. So he also mentioned that I am beyond these both. I am beyond Sharam and Aksharam. I am Purushottaman. Now to gain this supreme knowledge about the Atman or Brahman, human need to develop divine qualities, characters, virtues, values. The self-knowledge is the ultimate goal of human existence. This knowledge leads humans to be one with divine. Not knowing this knowledge, the humans look outside for external pleasures, when each one is existence, consciousness, and bliss. This alone is knowledge. Everything else is an information. There could be many obstacles in the process of gaining knowledge, even in normal day-to-day life. Here, same thing with spiritual path also. And he gives three specific obstacles that could happen. One is from pramata, pramanam, prameyam. Pramata is the experiencer. Pramana is the tool with which the mode with means of experience through which we use the tool through which we experience the experienced object. So prameya is the experienced object. So now when we talk about the prameya, the object, if you want to see a pen or a book or anything, you need the tool I. So if the object is very close to you, then you can see them very clear. But if the object is at a distance, not very clearly visible, or it is covered, concealed, then it is not visible also. Then you cannot understand what it is. You cannot gain the knowledge about that particular object. So that is about the prameya. Then comes a pramana. Pramana is the means. If the eyesight is poor, I cannot know the knowledge about something that is in front of me, or I have cataract, I cannot see clearly. That is prameya, right? The object is not visible because of the pramana, because of the tool. The third one is pramata, the experiencer. The object is open. It is right near in front of us. Eyes are watching. But if the mind is at a distance, it's thinking of something else. Even then we won't gain the knowledge of this object. This is the defect or the obstacle from the experiencer. Ignorance alone can cover Brahman. Atman, that is Brahman, is self-illuminating. Nothing else can cover it. There's no problem, defect in Brahman, supreme. That is, we know that. Brahman is self-illuminating. Pramana, the Guru, and the scriptures. If the Guru is not teaching not teaching properly, the seeker may not get the knowledge. If the Guru is teaching properly, but not using the practical correct scriptures, instead of, on the contrary, using logic or reasoning and debate or analysis, the disciple cannot get the knowledge. Always ask which text, which verse, So because there's a lot of information, fake opinions, personal opinions in YouTube and everywhere. Always check, find out, make sure that you can get it confirmed which text and which verse number. Now, scriptures recommend 3 generations guru, and for a guru to be eligible to be a guru, scripture is illegitimate. If the seeker is not acquiring the knowledge, the defect is not Brahman, neither the guru nor the scriptures, but the seeker himself or herself. For this reason, Krishna emphasizes divine qualities that one should possess. With these qualities, self-knowledge can be observed and can be crystallized. Chapter 16 is all about the divine qualities and the demonic qualities. This is mainly for our self-reflection to diagnose and identify our personalities and detour as we need it. Verse 1 to 3, he gives about 26 qualities. What is good? One needs to gravitate towards what is good. What is not, one needs to revolve from it and eliminate it completely. So verse 1, he talks about the number 1 is abhayam. Bhaya is fear. Abhayam is fearless. There is no need to be afraid. Why fear? Fear of what? Only demonic-minded are afraid. You are that, but you are that. So we have to identify where we are and detour. Demons are afraid of death and are afraid of failure, losing power, position, authority. In scriptures, Ramayana and Mahabharata, we could see many demons, asuras, also referred as asura in Sanskrit, praying for no death and no defeat. Ravana was one such demon who prayed intensely. He was a Shiva Bhakta. He prayed intensely so that he is not killed by anything, anyone. But during that prayer, he missed the word human because he thought, of human I can handle, but I don't want to be killed by Indra or Varuna or anybody else. So that's why Nirguna Brahman took the avatar of Rama and came and attacked him. So Krishna says fearlessness is the primary quality in being divine. Oftentimes we are afraid of situations that we never face. Look back. We have crossed so many challenges in life today, but we are still afraid of future. Fear is false evidence appearing as real. However hard and challenging life may be, pray, ask for a stronger back, not a lighter load. There's a quote by Phillips Brooks, a preacher in Boston Trinity Church. He was the author of the book, O Little Town of Bethlehem. He says, I do not pray for a lighter load, but a stronger back. When you completely surrender, trust, surrender, we have seen it before, surrender is not just belief, it is belief, trust, with reverence, complete, okay? There should not be any worry, anxiety, fear. Stay strong, unafraid, abhayam, fearless. When God is with me, who can be against me? That comes in Romans 8.31 Bible. Even to study scriptures, Gita, Upanishad, we need to question. We often have a question, our own capacity to learn, to understand, to grasp, and we have that self-doubt. Can I learn? Will I be able to understand? Will I be able to renounce? I'm never alone. God is always with me at all times. That is a thought we should always have. We have the enormous potential, and because of that presence in us. Abhaya Mudra, all deities we have seen, all deities have that Abhaya Mudra. Right? I'm there to help you at all times. So that is for protection, peace, and dispelling fear. Be firm, grounded, fearless. That is the first required quality for divine personality. Second one is purity in mind. Thought, word, and deed. Purity is thought, word, and deed. All three should be in alignment. We shower, we clean our body every day, dress up because others see it. But it is the mind is not visible to others, so it's always full of lot of trash, garbage. all the negative thoughts, words, but it will show up in our non-verbal body language. Impure mind is like an acid. It will destroy the mind, body first, container first. Be honest to yourself. Number 3 is listening. Jnana yoga vyavastitaha. Listening to scriptures and focusing on what is learned. Atma dhyanaha. That is staying grounded on the self-knowledge that is accomplished, that is understood. That is emphasized here. Vyavasthiti meaning one should be drawn fully into the self-knowledge with full commitment, not a haphazard fashion. Self-knowledge is not a hobby. Must be listened to, contemplated on, what is heard, clarified. All the doubts get convinced and say focus on this knowledge. That is a divine quality. Then number 4 is dhanam, sharing. Have you noticed that only humans hoard? No other species does it. Lion and tiger, they hunt and they eat. They eat an animal and then once they are full, they just leave it and leave it for other animals. But humans are insecure. There's a famous motivational speaker, Dr. Wayne Dyer. He talks about self-confidence. What do you have to give to your children? Self-confidence, self-esteem, and self-reliance. That's all. They don't need any wealth. They can accumulate. They can gain it. So Krishna says same thing. Sharing is another divine quality. Whether it is food, things, or knowledge, or without expecting anything in return with others, sharing it with others. Dhanam is not giving away everything, but have your needs and share. There's a difference between dhanam and dharma. Dhanam is donation, dharma is charity. Karna was in character Mahabharata, so he was always performing dharma, actually meaning there's a difference between dhanam and dharma. Dhanam is you see somebody asks for something and you give, that is dhanam. But you identify the need of the other person and you offer it, that is dharma. Why? Because see, when you go for a walk, you can see a homeless. Get him a hat. If it is too hot weather, get him a hat or a water bottle. And if it is cold winter weather, get a blanket. No big deal. We are not spending too much, but you are not giving away everything. So yeah, because the reason is the day would come when you need to be able to renounce everything. Nothing is ours. We have abundance to enjoy, but we own nothing. We come naked and we go naked. We come here, we serve, and we should choose to live happily. That I have come, I have done my best, and I'm leaving without any guilt. So this is a very important quality, duty especially for a grahasthas, from a family person. Number 5 is damaha, control of senses. Our physical health reflects our lifestyle, right? So that is our diet and our exercise, etc. Similarly, what have I given to my mind for it to be healthy? Make sure that we focus on see, hear, taste, smell, and touch, all the 5 senses, good ones, divine qualities, positive, and not the other way. That is Dhammaha. Number 6 is Yajna. Yajna means we all wake up to our text messages on the phone, right? But Krishna says your day should start with divine thought, gratefulness, and a sense of gratitude and worship. Shankara has written a text that is called Prataha Smaranaha, how you start the day, how you pray. Always start with gratitude. When we don't do that, we are caught up in the samsara, the whirlpool, and we are always on the run. No pause to think of anything positive all day, and everything, all the experience during the day, arguments, discussions, thoughts, all those things, they are carried over in our dreams. And they'll also continue in the next birth. Everyone has only 24 hours, a precious commodity, productivity. So productivity is important. We should take the time to pause, think the purpose of human birth, thank for what we have. Not just an animal life, eat, sleep, and procreate. We are the product of our choices. Choose a definite time to self-reflect. It is very easy to live without thinking, contemplating. dragging the life. Just eat, be happy, and be merry. But make an effort to concentration and a commitment to lead a life of values and principles. That is yajna, choosing our own journey. Swadhyaya. Swadhyaya is considered as a duty of each human to read scriptures, great books, texts, attend satsang, spiritual discourses. These scriptures are manual for the right living. They show us the purpose of human birth and points us the methodology to the path of meaningful life. Number 8 is tapaha. Any and all activities where we are not a slave to our senses are referred to as tapaha. Without cravings, meaning moderation in food, sleep, activities, everything, including relationship. Too much of anything is too bad. There are needs and wants. Ultimately, we need to renounce it all. Start practicing it early and gradually. Letting go is not easy. It is a practice. That is why all religions have fasting, self-discipline. So when the senses are not going outside, there is no mental agitation, craving, or a feeling of restriction. We all experienced it during lockdown, right? So in India we have that Sabarimala. People go there and they do not have slippers, or don't sleep on the bed. They sleep on the floor, minimizing their comfort. These are all tapas, restricting yourself from things. Then arjo, number 9, straightforwardness in both in thought, word, and deed. Again, think before you speak. Do what is spoken. Walk the talk. We don't need to speak all that we think of, but that becomes a loose talk. But whatever we speak, say, must be well thought of. Then keep up the word. When we don't respect our own word, how can we expect others to respect it? If you say somebody's house, I'm coming from at 5 o'clock, be there at 4:55. Or you can say, I'll be there between 5 and 5:30. So even if you are there at 5:29, you are on time. So think before speak and act on your words. Number 10, verse number 2 is Ahimsa, non-violence. This is absolutely essential quality, not hurting anyone, anytime, mainly by words, abusing, disrespecting, sarcastic comments. Every word that comes out of or we utter needs to be kind, considerate, and compassionate. If this is not followed, meditation is just impossible. We all have experience, even when we have disagreement or argument or heated argument with some family members. It's difficult to focus on any talk, even to read a book. The mind is agitated, perturbed, and troubled. The same thing applies in the spiritual path. Ahimsa paramo dharmaha, highest of all values. Now number 11 is Satyam, truth. Satyam Vada, always speak the truth. Truth has to be gentle, courteous, and kind. All that we utter must be truth. Doesn't mean that all truth must be spoken. In certain situations, we don't need to speak the truth, and that is not untruth. If it is a joint family, those days in India we used to have, but if you don't speak all the truth, that everything happened. So that if that truth is not revealed, it is for the common good. I know of a friend whose husband was in the hospital almost on the end of time, and she had a car accident. The car was total, but she did not reveal it to him. It is a truth, but she did not share it because she didn't want that person to go through this another calamity that has happened in the family. But of course, she didn't get hurt. Luckily, she didn't get hurt. But these are the things that we sometimes, whatever we speak must be the truth. All truth need not be spoken. Akrodaha, next, number 12, devoid of anger. Anger is a demonic quality. Anger is one letter short of danger. In any situation, keep an eye on this. Try to stay calm. Do not let anger take over. That could lead to disaster. Whenever I feel frustrated and I feel the anger, start counting from 10 to 1. So that emotion is in my control. Tyaga, sacrifice, renunciation. Enjoy everything that you have, but be prepared and ready to lose anything at any time. It may be things, your possessions, your people, and finally renunciate all mentally. We own nothing. 14 is Shanti, mental calmness. Think out all negativities, anger, worry, guilt, fear. These will pull you down. Guilt is of the past. Worry is of the future. Anger and fear are present. Keep all this in your control so you choose to be calm at all times. Abhaisunam, number 15, gossip. Talking negatively about the third person in his or her absence. Appreciate in public, give feedback in private. It holds very good with the partners, parents, children, and with any two individuals. Nowadays, it's all digital gossip. Number 16 is Daya Bhuteshu. That means kind and compassionate to all beings. Vedanta, when understood clearly, we should be able to see that Brahman in all, resulting in all natural kindness, in resulting in natural kindness, compassion, humaneness, sympathy, sensitivity, generous and caring. This is what he today taught in business management as emotional intelligence. Aloluptvam, that is without craving, meaning does not get carried away with others' belongings. Sometimes when I was in India, I used to see the flowers hanging from neighbors when I go for a walk. Beautiful flower with a nice fragrance. I would be tempted to pluck. And now today, looking back, I'm thinking we should not even touch others because it is not ours. So that is alolupta, craving, taking other, get carried away with others' belongings. That's a simple one flower, but then there's a lot. People do a lot of negative things. So we want to be careful with that. Mardhvam. Mardhvam meaning being gentle, affable, cordial, soft-spoken, mild, quiet with everyone. Hri is shameful. We should be ashamed to perform any wrong acts. We often use the term, he was shameless. Krishna says we need to be ashamed of any wrongdoing. Number 20 is Chabalyam. Chabalyam means shaking arms and legs unnecessarily. When the mind is agitated or in anxiety, it reflects in the body. It is important to maintain the body and mind to stay calm. Verse 3 is 21 to 26 qualities he is mentioning. 21 is the boldness, courage, which is tejaha. Shama is compassion. Triti is firmness, conviction. Saucham is purity, cleanliness, thought, word, and deed, and in environment. Atroha is without duplicity, without hypocrisy. Na adimanitaha, not egoistic, not boastful or self-centered. Verse 5, without these good qualities, divine qualities, there is no liberation from the samsara. Now, verse 6, these are several beings. There are several beings. All are made up of 5 elements. Krishna divides all beings into 2. One is divine with divine qualities, one with demonic qualities. These demonic qualities are mainly specified for us to identify and eliminate, not to judge others. Demons are not with horns and big long teeth as shown in books and TV, but our thoughts and attitudes towards other beings and other surroundings. Humans alone can be an angel, a human, or an animal. Verse 7 to 20 talks about Asura's demonic qualities. Again, it is all for self-reflection, self-assessment. Now, verse 7, whatever action is beneficial for the common good is worth doing. And whatever action is harmful and not beneficial for the common good should not be done. The demons are unable to differentiate between the two. They do not have pure thoughts. Their physical activities are not principled, and their speech is never the truth. Whatever needs to be done are not done. That is, whatever is prohibited from doing, both are our duty. Cleanliness at the physical level, at the environment level, and in our thought, word, and deed is a divine quality. And these are not present in a demon. Demons do not have self-discipline. They have no values or principles to live by. They are never truthful, never honest. When we speak untruth, a lie, we are demons. Number 8, the concept of divinity is that there is a higher power beyond human intelligence, and we call it with different names. Demons do not agree that there is a God. For them, the entire universe is because of desires. Might is right, one life to live. One life to live really means this is one human life we are blessed with. We do not know what will be the next birth. They are not involved in spiritual studies and are referred as Anishwaram, that is, no Ishwaram, no God. For example, Big Bang Theory. They do not trust anyone or anything and always see negativities. Nowadays, media, newspaper, TV, everything is there. They are very emotional, they divide and rule. In spite of so many good things happening around, it's never mentioned. They're interested only in transactional glamour, in the demons, transitional, transactional, temporary glamour. Verse number 9, these characters have cheap mentality. They do harmful acts. They have lost the inner presence. Abusive to Atman within. They focus on destruction and self-pride. Not knowing, realizing that they are in complete ignorance. They think they know it all. Virginia Satir, in a quote, there is a quote that I often think of. The biggest problem as human being is not knowing that we do not know. There's no know-it-all person. Verse number 10. These individuals are very crude, cruel, focus on destroying, violent, the world destroying the world at any cost. They tend to demolish, tear down the environment, the world, and self. Number 10, these are extremely greedy with unfulfilled desires, with a show of self-pride, insulting and belittling others, deluded with negative thoughts and actions, harming, abusing, and involved in self-glorification. They commit themselves to harm others. Anyone on my path, I will kill them. I will make them into zero. Full of hatred, bitterness, resentment without any human values. Ravan and Kamsan were there in that category. Then the animal sacrifice. This is because of not knowing the scripture. There was nowhere it is mentioned to sacrifice animals. We need to dissolve, disown, dismiss, sacrifice is our ego. Dissolve this, our ego, that is sacrifice. Number 11, such demonic individuals are confused, agitated, afraid. Throughout their life, drawn to glamour and pleasure and strongly believe in acquiring name, power, and position and wealth. In spite of experiencing sufferings and struggles in life, they are always drawn to external pressure. When we are in the state of confusion, we are in a demonic state. Taking a decision is vital and can always detour as needed. When undecided, we are stagnant, we are confused, we are stagnant, and we have to always assess in any situation, look at the pros and cons, assess, analyze, and decide. Verse 12, demonic mind individuals are with hundreds of desires. They are full of desires and anger. Their focus is, we have read that in chapter 2, verse 62 to 64, it's a downfall. Desires causes anger. So their focus is on multiplying their wealth by any and all means, corruption, dishonest, cheating, stepping on others' toe. Capitalize on every opportunity by hook or crook, without any values or principles. Extreme greed, Duryodhana was one, and we can still see people around like that. Mahabharata still continues. Verse 13 to 15, Krishna mentions how they would talk. Verse 13, I will achieve whatever I want. Today I attained this, I attained this, and I'll attain more. I have the power, position, human force, people may who obey my orders. That is, my human force is people who obey my orders. These demonic people are arrogant, filled with pride, and are in a state of infatuation, narcissism, self with a sense of entitlement, lack of sympathy, with a need for self-admiration. This is how they talk. Says starts from verse 14. Here Krishna describes their anger. I will kill anyone who is on my path. I can't have an enemy. I am the supreme power. All the wealth are mine. I have attained all in my life. Anyone who dares to face me will face death. I am superior to all being. Krishna in this verse says, anyone who thinks this way is a demon. There is one humanity. It is one species. No one is superior to the other. Asura, demons, anyone who is arrogant because of name and fame is demon. 16. These demons at the time of death, while leaving this body, go to hell, comes from Garuna Purana. They are always considered to be superior to others by constant comparison with reference to wealth and perform all rituals, charity, and donation for the self-promotion. The ego, is very strong in them. Verse 80, we can identify in their talks, in their conversation. It's all about me, I and mine consistently. If we can avoid the I as much as possible, that would be great. In India, we always use passive voice in all languages. We never ask, did you eat? They always ask, lunch is over. In Hindi, खाना हो गया, चा पड़ा चा, उठा आयता. All they never mention the I. Even great saints never use the word I. I wrote this. They never mention I wrote this, including Shankara and Krishna. They are avatars. They always said it is stated, it is mentioned, it is authored, it is suggested, it is recommended. Demonic minded often have destructive power with ego, power, arrogance, intense desires, uncontrollable anger, jealousy. They ignore me, and that's because Krishna is in everybody. I am in all beings. With all this negative tendency, they ignore, they disrespect the divine presence in the temple. The body is a temple. So as we interact with other beings, we should be able to see the divine presence in them and be kind. I'm in all, he says. Say, for example, when Mr. X is always angry, insensitive towards others, the receiver gets desensitized to their comments. They'll just ignore the person that person is always like that. So let me not even take it. They're not even going to hear what we say. So he gets evolved. Here, the receiver gets evolved. So verse 19, such demons are pushed back into samsara, meaning they are born again and again. We can notice from our experiences there are people who have had demonic, arrogant qualities in their early years when they were physically strong, had power, position. Later on in their 60s and 70s, when they become inactive, dormant, powerless. So that is life. Based on their karma, thought, word, and deed, they take the next form. Now, verse 21. This verse says that there are 3 gates to hell. Hell is karma, krodha, and lobha. Negativity. Downward spiral. Kama, krodha, and lobha. Kama is extreme greed, avaricious, money-grabbing, insatiable. Anger is hatred, animosity, antagonistic, resentment. Lobha is not sharing with others. Parsimony, frugality, miserliness, avarice. Everything is for me. Therefore, Arjuna, every human needs to be conscious of these and eliminate them. Until then, the jiva would be in the cycle of birth and death, whirlpool of plurality. These are demonic qualities, pointers towards destruction. Ravana was for kama, lust and desire. Duryodhana was for lobha. He had lobha, greed for wealth. Kamsa was always angry, Krodha. All these three faced self-destruction. Verse 22, therefore Arjuna, one who is relieved of, or one who relieves oneself from these three qualities, does good to oneself and attains liberation. One who is drawn to these desires, cravings, unrighteous path, does not attain self-knowledge, is incomplete, meaning experiences the plurality and is not liberated from the bondages. Scriptures address what should be done and what should not be done. So those who are full of these three qualities, desire, greed, and anger, kama, krodha, lobha, perform what is prohibited, nishiddha karma, and restrains from doing what is suggested, what is recommended. Only those who win and keep these demonic qualities in check, under control, can attain divine qualities easily with less effort. Verse 24, therefore the scriptures are your pointers to choose your path. They are the primary tools for you. These scriptures will help you to cross the ocean of samsara. Do not live in the way the mind takes you. Mind is like a monkey, it takes you everywhere. One who is in bondage in this whirlpool of life and birth, to escape from it, must follow the guidance of scriptures without dragging the life, then leading a meaningful, purposeful life. It is individual's choice. With that, he completes chapter 16. Let me share the screen for a few minutes and then we can go from there. I'll share the screen. This is chapter 16. You can see Devasra Sampatti Vibhaga Yoga, the yoga of distinction between the divine and demonic qualities. This we have read it in chapter 13. You can always go back and look into it. All these things that we have, whatever we did cover today, it's all here already given to us. It's more repetition, emphasis, so that it sinks in. We have talked about absence of pride, absence of hypocrisy, not hurting. Ahimsa is not hurting other beings with thought, word, and deed. Absence of disturbance in the mind, straightforwardness, humility, cleanliness. We have studied all these things. Atma Vinigraha, self-discipline, absence of attachment. So you can check it out. I just wanted to bring it back. The experiencer, experienced, and the tool to experience. All these five senses are tools for the Atma to interact with the world. These are the divine qualities. Abhayam, which is not fearful. Abhayam, Sattva Samsuddhihi, Jnana Yoga Vyavastitaha, Dhanam, Dharmam, Yagyam, Swadhyaya, Tapha, Arjavam. We just discussed all this. Ahimsa, Satyam, Akrodaha, that is fearlessness. Tyagaha, sacrifice. Shanti, Daya, Bhuteshu. Bhuta is an element. Daya, Bhuteshu is being, everyone is made up of 5 elements. Be kind and compassionate with everyone. Alolubdam, Mardvam, free, shame, be ashamed to do anything wrong. Achabalyam. So we have discussed all this. I won't take much time again. So Tejaha is courage, Chama, forgiveness, Dhruti, Saucham, Atrodaha, that is not vengeance, Nadimanitaha, that is without being arrogant. So ego is without arrogant, egoistic. So only human beings can be, only a man alone can be a human, animal, or divine. It's our choice. We are the product of choice. Either we can be kind or compassionate, or we choose our behavior. These are asur sampatti. That means demonic qualities. Acharaha, without self-discipline. Nireshwaraha, there is no Ishvara. Then Nashtatmanaha, that is Atmahatya, that is destroying one's own self by being all negative. Then extreme greed, asuchi brataha, that is doing our meditation, prayer, meditation, worship, everything to which is to hurt others, not pure. Then this is positive thoughts. Positive thoughts takes us towards our spiritual goal. Negative thoughts takes us towards bondage. These are Deviha Sampatti, these are Asuri Sampatti. We generally neglect our thought patterns because it is too subtle and too fleeting and others can't see it. But we should remember that our thought patterns determine our destiny. Watch your thoughts, they become your words. Watch your words, they become your actions. Watch your actions, they become habits. Watch your habits, they become your character. Watch your character, it becomes your destiny. We have read this in chapter 6, 6.6 also. Krishna talks about how to watch your thoughts. Your mind can be a friend or enemy. This is very important. Then verse number 21 is Kama Krodha Lobha. That is, Duryodhana was Lobha. He did not want to give. He had a big empire. He was supposed to give half to his cousin brothers, but he did not give even 5. He said he refused to give 5 towns, 5 villages, 5 towns, 5 homes, 5 houses also, because he didn't want to give anything. Then Ravana was for lust, that extreme desire. Then Kamsa was extreme anger. Therefore, Shastram is the only pramana, tool for self-realization. Always keep that in mind. And scriptures guide us, they guide us with what is to be done, what is to be not done. So with that, we complete this today. Let me finish it. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.